Ay, ay, ay.
To itself, okay?
Come on. Sad, sad day, especially for those that are around in and frequent Thailand. And let's be honest, our presence as tourists in Thailand has increased throughout the years. You know, when I was going to Thailand a gazillion years ago, uh, it wasn't really a lot of Americans. Was it Americans there? Yes, but it wasn't the amount of Americans there that exists today. And this is not coming from me. This is not coming from a biased source. Because as we know, some countries they tell you what they want you to know to minimize the publicity aspect and most importantly, the negativity. But Bangkok, as a lot of us have seen on various international news channels, was hit by an earthquake. All right. And there's the video circling around throughout the internet. But the death toll is above 140, right? Usually, when they say above a number, right, it's probably at 210. But let's just say, according to AP News, it is at 140, above 140. All right. So the long story short regarding this high rise is there was a high rise under construction that collapsed, right? And if you look at this video, I'm not sure if this particular uh, news link has the video. If you look at the video, it is a disaster. It is heartbreaking. It is sad. It is unfortunate because think about a high rise. This isn't something that's 5 stories, 6 stories, 7 stories. Who knows? This thing could have been 30, 40, 50 stories collapsing. Just imagine how long it is going to take these crews to go through the debris, to find bodies, signs of life. And I hope that there are survivors, right? But realistically, let's say, for an example, you fall 30 floors, 40 floors, 50 floors, 20 floors. Uh, the chances of survival are very slim, especially when there's floors, cement, construction, and all sorts of materials that was used to build that high rise falling on you, right? And as they say, we fear it may be weeks before we understand the full extent of construction caused by this earthquake, right? And I have a few questions, right? And I have a few questions, and I will get into that right. It's sad. Whenever a disaster like this strikes, it's sad. It's unfortunate. And I feel for the families of those that were impacted by this disaster. And over the past couple of days, I'm not sure if people have been paying attention, but there's been more than one thing happening in Thailand, right? At first, I saw this video of this high rise moving, and water from the top floor pool was spilling on the ground. Imagine walking past the building, making up a number that's 50 stories high, and the pool is on the floor number 51, and there's water coming down, hitting you in the face, hitting cars, hitting cement, hitting stores. And then maybe 24 hours, 48 hours or so, more or less, I hear stories of high rises
falling down, collapsing. There's been a lot of things that have been going on in the past few weeks in the world, right? Airplane situations, going on across the world, but we're specifically talking about Thailand, right? And you can find the video yourself. I might post it, I might show it, but just imagine a high rise and water is just first and foremost, why is the high rise able to move like this? In a lot of big cities across the world, and I'm not going to say Thailand specifically, right? In a lot of big cities across the world, the architecture, the buildings, these high rises, these apartment buildings are built up so fast so they can make profit, but safety really isn't their top priority. I would just say, hey, know the risk, right? Have I stayed in high rises in Thailand? Yes. Will I stay in high rises again in Thailand? Yes. But know the risk. Know the risk. Know that there are risks with constructing buildings in 4, 5, 6 months that probably should have took 2 or 3 years to construct just to ensure that you meet this contract, just to ensure that these buildings are up for lease or apartments or Airbnbs or whatever the case would be. Just ensure that you know the risk. Because I am willing to bet, right? Because people live in Thailand, people travel to Thailand. A lot of these, Bangkok buildings or have rooms in them that are Airbnbs, and they say, hey, you can't have Airbnbs in Thailand. It's illegal. I've done it multiple times. Matter of fact, every time I go to Thailand, I get an Airbnb. I used to stay in the Landmark Hotel, but now every time I go to Thailand, especially Bangkok, I get an Airbnb. And I can promise you this, there was some tourists in that building. Some of those 140 were tourists. Some of those 140 were people that were not born Thai. Some of those 140s could have been Americans, Europeans, people from UK, different parts of Asia. I can promise you this, all of those 140 plus individuals were not all Thai. And I have questions. I don't want to get too deep and I don't want to get offensive because I know people lost their lives, right? But usually, when there's a tornado coming, a hurricane coming, a volcano coming, the Grinch coming, usually people are going to know. When there's severe thunderstorms, snow, usually people are going to know. Usually you'll get notified on your phone. You'll see the weather. You'll see the weather. You'll see the weather. You'll get notified on your phone, heard about it on the news, someone tells you. The question I have is, and I'll probably never have an answer to this question. Those people that were doing construction and someone up there found out about the weather that was coming or near, right? Did they continue to work because they wanted to get the job done and ignore the weather warnings, ignore the obvious, ignore the signs? Did they? And the second question is, because I know the answer to the first question and you do too, the second question is, why did they? Why did they? This is an unfortunate situation. I'm not here to pass the blame or say he said, she said, it woulda, coulda, shoulda, could. All that's out of the window when these people are no longer with us. These people are not going home to their families, their friends, their children, their classmates, their wives, their husbands. None of that matters. But I wish that this could have been prevented. I wish there was some way to prevent such a disaster. But even when disasters happen, what can we do to prevent such a thing from happening again? I was telling someone recently, hey, when I go to Thailand, because I'm thinking about going this summer to get some tattoos. When I go to Thailand, I might have to rent me a villa, you know? I was talking to, no disrespect, but I was talking to someone today and I'm like, hey, when I go to Thailand again, I might have to get me a villa. I might have to get a house, an apartment building with only like 5 or 6 floors. Because I'm a firm believer in this, right? Take this out of the equation. I am a firm believer in this. History has the capability to repeat itself. And I'm going to repeat that again. History has the capability to repeat itself. Anything that happened once in life could possibly happen again. And I don't want to be the, I don't want to just play Russian roulette and like, yep, it happened once. It'll never happen to me. Because usually those people that say it'll never happen to them, it happens to them. But I want y'all to be safe. For those that are thinking about visiting Thailand, you know, I'm not saying not go, but be safe. But I would especially encourage you to have weather alerts set up, or have the weather on your phone set up so you can see and monitor what the weather is and what the weather is going to be for the next few hours, few days, so you can plan your trip accordingly. You can make adjustments accordingly. You can change flights accordingly. You can get refunds on flights accordingly, because I do not want any of you that may be considering going to Thailand to be a victim of such a natural disaster that likely could have been prevented. But I'm listening. Comments, questions, we can have a discussion in the comments. Let me know what you think. What do you think about what's going on in Thailand, or what went on in Thailand, and the cleanup efforts and that as a whole?